Good afternoon, Shalini ma'am and all our viewers. Today we have with us Dr. Shalini Kalia, who is the Chief Academic Officer of NMIMS Global Access School for Continuing Education. We are honored with your presence on our platform. To begin, I would like to introduce you. Speaking about Dr. Shalini Kalia ma'am's educational background, ma'am has completed her PhD in English and Advanced Program for Marketing Professionals from IIM Calcutta. With over 15 years of rich experience in the education industry, Dr. Shalini ma'am has been at the forefront of heading various committees and end-to-end processes of top B schools in India. Throughout her career, she has had several leadership positions, with last one as Deputy Director EMBA Mumbai at SP Jain School of Global Management. She has had diverse teaching experiences in the schools of repute, including international schools like E-Normandy Business School, SP Jain Dubai, and IMT Dubai. Currently, ma'am is working as a Chief Academic Officer at NMIMS Global Access School for Continuing Education. We are happy to have you here.
Thank you, Shivani. Thanks for introducing me. Yeah.
So to begin with the first question, being an active part of the education sector for over 15 years, what keeps you connected to the education field?
All right. It's a pleasure to be here, Shivani, today. So as I speak, I'm completing 17 years in education industry, and it has been an amazing journey to be a part of schools of repute like IMT Ghaziabad, SP Jain School of Global Management, and now NMIMS University. And in this journey, I have been lucky to experience different facets of business education, like admissions, accreditation, and program designing, curriculum, student experience, and all of that. So now coming to the question, what keeps me connected to the education field and what drives me towards it even today? First point is, I love to be with the young minds. Being with them is something I love the most. Why? Because they are energetic, they are enthusiastic, they are creative, they have new ideas, they look towards the future. All this rubs off energy on me, and that makes me a learner forever. Every day I feel there is something new that we can do to improve the situation, to improve the status. So that makes me a learner forever. Second is, the beauty of education sector is it continually evolves. Now, looking at the last 7 years, the way things have changed in terms of content, program, design, admission strategies, marketing strategies, the way the student experience is dealt with, everything has gone through a major change, and of course for the betterment. No model can work forever. The sensitization regarding this and quick evolvement to match the industry needs is critical to be in the game. Something that worked beautifully maybe just 1 year ago may be irrelevant. 2020 is a perfect example of that. Now, desire to experiment something new every day and contribute my bit to the industry and the learners excite me, and that keeps me glued in and excited about the education industry.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. The second question is, the education domain, as you said, keeps evolving. How do you keep the teachers and students at NJASC acquainted with the current industry technology?
Right. So education cannot work in silos. It has to be closely integrated with the industry requirement. In fact, the educationists and the schools need to proactively anticipate the future trends in the industry and the required skill sets and accordingly design the program and the curriculum. Coming to the question, what do we do to keep the teachers and students acquainted with the current industry technology or the trends? Let me talk in few points here. First point is keeping the programs relevant, introducing new age programs as we evolve. For example, we have the program, we have almost 30 programs in our school, right? And we continuously keep introducing new programs as per the requirement in the industry. For example, the programs in analytics, data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, wealth management, digital marketing, all of them have emerged in the last 1 or 2 years as the need was felt. So first point, as I said, is new age programs. Second is the curriculum review by experts from academia and industry. Just designing relevant programs is not sufficient. Getting them reviewed by experts from industry, I think is extremely important. So at the design of the programs go through rigorous review by leading experts from academia and industry, as I said. Even after that, It is a periodic review that keeps happening, and wherever required, the changes are brought in. For example, in our MBA program, recently we have introduced 8 new electives, and these electives are in the domain of analytics plus other contemporary management domains. So this was the second part about curriculum review by experts. Third is to keep connected with the industry. The best way is to get faculty from industry. So all our faculty members have a perfect blend of experience from academics as well as industry. This brings a perfect, combination of the concepts integrated into the applications, the business applications of it. Just getting the faculty pool is not sufficient. We also continuously work to train them in terms of workshops that we conduct with them, because an upskilling is required for everybody. So this was a third point in terms of faculty pool. The fourth is our interactive pedagogy helps our students keep connected with the industry trends. For example, capstone simulations in our MBA program. In all our program, the case studies, the videos, the business articles, the real life projects, assignments, all this makes the interactive pedagogy, which helps students understand the concepts and in terms of applications. Let me take one example. For example, there is a program, digital marketing, in which rather than just sticking to the contemporary or the traditional textbook learning, we have tied up with Student, where the students get contemporary content material along with they get to have hands-on experience on simulation and digital marketing. Let me also talk about some more interesting pedagogy, something we call as beyond the classroom, which the name itself indicates. We don't want the learning to be confined only within the classroom. We want it to go beyond that. And on our portal, the faculty keeps posting some interesting articles, quizzes, anything of interest for the students to the topic, connected to the topic that they are teaching. And the discussion goes on even off the classroom. And that is how the activity is called as beyond the classroom. So these are a few examples of interactive pedagogy that I just shared. Last point which I would like to share that helps us to connect with the industry is our study material, the courseware, which is very, very industry specific and relevant. For example, in our MBA program, there are HBR foundation modules which students are supposed to complete before they start with their term, with the program, right? The objective is through HBR foundation module, the concepts are clarified, and when the students come to the class, they are at a common level and the faculty can take the discussion forward, considering it is a homogeneous group. So HBR Foundation module is one. Then we have practice-oriented cases from HBR, Ivy, Emerald, and other material from leading publishers. So all these things that help us connect with the industry and bring their experiences to our classroom.
Okay, wow, ma'am. That's a lot of things which are going on at the college. That's good to know. Moving on to the next question, what are the USPs of key programs at LMIMS Global Access School?
All right. So LMIMS Global Access School for Continuing Education, in short as we call it as NGASTE. This is India's largest EdTech university. And let me quantify that. It is approximately 69,000 plus students, 600 plus distinguished faculty, more than 12,500 alumni, more than 30 programs in the domains of BBA, BCom, MBA, MSc in Applied Finance, Wealth Management, Digital Marketing, and so on, right? This is the scale we are talking about, right? And that is why we confidently call ourselves as India's largest EdTech university. A lot of credit I will give to our CEO and director, Mr. Rajiv Shah, who is a tech-savvy leader, who is very passionate about education, bringing his knowledge of technology and connecting that with the education. He has been able to fill in the gap between quality education and the accessibility, right? In last 6-7 years, the kind of growth our school has seen, it has scaled to great heights. It is under the supervision and leadership of our director. Coming to now the specifics about the USPs of the programs, let me put them down under 5 points here. First, It is individual learning experience in flexible mode. So generally people think in online education, you don't get that personalized experience, and they think in face-to-face or on a full-time program, that would be better. This is what we target, that even if it is online, every student is important. We need to give personalized attention to the students in the class. Any query that comes off the class, in the class, it has to be addressed. So that individual learning experience is extremely important for us. And that happens through the discussion forums, the poster query through which the student can connect with the faculty. In fact, very recently, we have introduced a model which we call as multiple co-host model. So for instance, as a faculty, when I am teaching, the students are writing on the chat messages. In case I miss addressing any particular question, I have an academic co-host who addresses that query on the message. I also have with me a non-academic co-host in case there is a query that comes which is non-academic in nature. For instance, student is facing some technical issue, there is some issue regarding the study material or any other part. So for the faculty, these two co-hosts are also connected or logged in during the class to give personalized attention to every student. The target is not even a single query should go unanswered from the student. So this was first USP I wanted to highlight, which is individual learning experience. Second is interactive pedagogy. Capstone simulation I talked about earlier, which goes on very extensively in MBA programs for almost 2.5 months. Generally, the impression people think is in face-to-face all this is possible. In online, it is very difficult. How do you manage these simulations? But believe me, I think being in online education for more than 2 decades, the school has really mastered the art of online education, and everything is done perfectly. So when we say simulation for 2.5 months, the simulation goes on. Students go through 8 to 9 rounds, and after every round, there is a debriefing session, which is again assessed also. Towards the end, then students run through the complete simulations. A very well-designed capstone simulation is offered. This was one example. In terms of pedagogy, for each program, the pedagogy is designed which is suitable for the target audience for that program. For example, in our program MBA with specialization in business analytics, we call it as MBX. The model is there are 2 components. One is asynchronous component, another is live session. So a course goes on for 2 weeks. At the launch of the course, the students are given asynchronous content, which they go through, and then the faculty meets the students over the weekend for live session. The model works beautifully because it has been designed for the students that way. So coming back, pedagogy is designed for the program as keeping in mind the target audience. So this was my second USP, that is interactive pedagogy. Third is the state-of-the-art technology. Now we have intuitively homegrown learning management platform, which is called as Student Zone. It is a one-stop solution for all learning requirements, and which in a very streamlined way, the queries that we get from the students, they are processed through the student support team, and then it goes and all the queries are addressed in a very structured manner. And I'm sure you can understand when I say around 69,000 plus students, unless you have a robust system and processes in place, you cannot manage that audience effectively. So we have the technology that we have. I think that's that is very effective in managing this. All our exams are conducted on Metal Portal. So all this helps us manage it very efficiently. The fourth point is the industry-centric programs and the curriculum. I already talked about the new age programs, the curriculum designed by academia, people in academia and industry. That, of course, is another USP that we have. Another USP I would like to talk about is the career assistance and the career services. We have all working professionals who join our programs, but at the same time, we work with them for further career acceleration. And there are different ways we connect with them. For example, for our UG program, BBA and BCom, which have been launched this year, employability skills module is covered from semester 1 till the end. So the courses like soft skills, Tally, design thinking, startup, and giving them help in managing their interviews, group discussions, career counseling, all this is done with the students to train them or make them job ready. So these are 5 heads in which I wanted to talk about the USPs. Just to sum it up, the first one is individual learning experience. Second is interactive pedagogy. Third is state-of-the-art technology. Fourth is relevant industry-centric programs. And the last one is career services. The list is long, but I'm just trying to, in the interest of time, I'm focusing on these 5 heads.
Okay, ma'am, that's good to know. The next question is, how does distance education transform the education sector?
Okay, so online education has been prevalent for more than 2 decades. But recent reforms that have occurred due to COVID and the National Education Policy will redefine the future of online education in India. We all have seen many business schools who were purely into on-campus education have introduced a separate section for online education overnight, something that we have been doing it for more than 2 decades. Now, let us see how the education system will transform in the next few, or in the future, in the next few years. Currently, there were challenges at 2 levels. One, in terms of acceptance, and second, in terms of resources. Let me elaborate on this. When I say acceptance for online education at the level of educationists as well as the students. Somewhere people had that perception that people who, that online education was considered as secondary in contrast to the full-time programs. So I think that this particular acceptance thing is now, people have much more receptivity towards it. Second, in terms of resources, when I say resources, I mean to say infrastructure in terms of equipment and the faculty. This was also another challenge because people had faculty, but not everybody was trained to manage the online education. Even if COVID goes away, the online education is here to stay. And I'm sure with all the recent developments that have happened at both the levels, the challenges that I have just talked about, they will be overcome in terms of acceptance and the resources. We are much more equipped to manage both the things, and going forward, online education is the future of education.
Okay, ma'am, that's good to know. Moving on to the next question. Being one of the very few colleges conducting distance education, how do you plan to set up a benchmark for the same? Okay.
So I believe quality education is everyone's right. And this is possible only through online education, as it breaches the barriers of geography, financial affordability, and infrastructure. However, just providing online education is not sufficient. Providing quality and rigorous online education is crucial, which we aim at. We, as I said, we have been into this for more than 2 decades and have mastered the art of online education, and we continue to set new benchmarks every day. You would be surprised to know that with robust systems and processes, we have seamlessly managed more than 20,000 hours of lectures in 2020, with all the exams conducted on metal, which is proctored. COVID has not impacted the delivery or the student experience even for a single day. This is the kind of benchmark that we have set up. And as I said, we keep increasing our benchmarks every day.
Okay, ma'am, that's good to know. So the next question, what are the core objectives and outcomes offered by the programs at NMIMS Global Access School for Continuing Education?
Okay, so let me define this in 3 terms. One, I would always think, how would I define NGSC? For me, it is in 3 terms. One is flexible, rigorous, and affordable. Let me elaborate on this. Flexible in terms of medium, rigorous in terms of quality education, and affordable, of course, in terms of financials. When I say flexible in medium, of course, it gives a lot of flexibility to the students. For example, if they are not able to attend the live session, as I said, we have working professionals. All our students are working professionals. If they are not able to attend the live session, they have the facility to look at the recording. They also have the flexibility to choose the examination slot. This is the flexibility I mean. Rigor, I have mentioned earlier also in terms of quality education, the assessment that happens. Let me also give you an example in terms of rigor here. So for our MBA program, the one course goes on for 2 weeks and the duration of the program is 15 months. Okay. For each course, there are internal evaluations every day, which are based on the previous session. Okay. So that means every day the student has an internal evaluation. Once the course is over, the student has a term end examination and the student goes to the next course. This journey goes on for 15 months. You can very well imagine the kind of rigor the program has, and students are on toes throughout the 15-month journey. But the students love that. And it is not only about preparing them for the academics, it's also preparing them for managing this kind of, pressure in the work, which is, I think, a part of the game in corporate, right? So within 15-month journey, there are a lot of lessons and learning students get. So this is the rigor I was talking about. Affordability, yes, all our programs, we target providing quality education of that level at a very affordable pricing, because as I mentioned earlier, we believe that it is everybody's right to access quality education. So based on 3 levels, I would like to, mention the focus of NGSCE.
Okay, ma'am. That's good to know. Moving on to the next question. What are the college's greatest strengths and how can they be enhanced according to you?
Could you repeat this question?
Yeah. So, ma'am, what are NMIMS Global Access School for Continuing Education's greatest strengths and how can they be enhanced?
Okay, so as we had discussed the USPs under 5 heads, just to quickly name them again, we talked about individual learning experience, we talked about the faculty pool, we talked about interactive pedagogy, we talked about industry-centric programs, employability skills. Of course, all this is there. Now, to further enhance, it is a continuous journey that we take on. This year, we launched BBA, BCom. Last year, MBA was there, MBWX was launched. So I think that's a continuous journey where we see the industry requirement and prepare our students in alignment to that. So that has to be an ongoing journey.
Okay, that's good to know, ma'am. Moving on to next question. What kind of corporate recognition your students can expect after graduating from NMIMS Global Access School for Continuing Education?
Yeah, so we have an alumni base of more than 12,500. And out of all our students, which is something around 70,000, 85% of them are working professionals who represent over 8,000 companies spread across various industries. Large number of our hiring partners seek our students for lateral hiring requirement. Corporate world has a large pool of talent from NMIMS, and industry acknowledges the same, and hence high acceptability for talents graduating from NMIMS. The programs of NGSCE are widely accepted by the corporates and considered at par even better as compared to full-time programs of various universities.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you for your presence and valuable guidance. I'm sure students can learn a lot from your message, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Shivani.